Hi, everybody. Dan DeFederico, Saratoga Report. I'm here with George Ehinger, candidate for Saratoga County Supervisor, a city resident, someone I've known for most of his time that he's lived here. And we're going to talk a little bit about the unhoused, the homeless. To some, unhoused is more of a term that's more used recently. George, how are these going? You were just on the League of Women Voters forum. I saw you. You seem very comfortable. You did well. What are your takes on that?
Yeah, look, I really enjoyed the debate because, this is my first time running for elected office. So it's also my first political debate ever. And I don't mind saying I feel I nailed it. it was uh, it was a lot of fun, and uh, I encourage your viewers to go watch the full hour. My opening is at 2.5 minutes, and my closing is at 55 minutes. I think those were pretty relevant. But yeah, it was a variety of questions, um, some of which kind of surprised, I think, all three of the panelists. And but it was a well done event, and I appreciate the League of Women Voters for doing what they do.
Yeah, good for you. Like I told you, I saw part of it, and yes, folks. You should watch this. It's on Saratoga Report. You don't have to watch the whole thing, or you could do what I do. I put it on in the car, and I put it when I'm out walking. If you don't have time to sit in front of a computer and watch it, at least listen to it on your phone. So, great, George. And George, for those this is our second time talking to you here. This is, folks, by the way, sponsored content with Saratoga Report. This is our second time talking. Just briefly, for those that did not see the first time, who is George Ehinger? How does he relate to Saratoga? And why are you running for office?
Yeah, look, I'm a 20-year resident of Saratoga Springs, proud father of a seventh grader at Maple Avenue Middle School. Um, I've been involved in the community in a lot of ways in the past. I've been a board member of Saratoga Plan for many years. I've been a mentor at Saratoga Sponsor, a scholar. I'm currently serving as the treasurer of Sobro Conservancy and on the board of the Rotary Club Scholarship Foundation. So I'm very committed to the city. By way of business, I'm recently retired from a 30 plus year career as a senior executive leading high growth companies in a wide variety of industries and everything from um, Scholastic and running a division at Scholastic to a 5-person startup here in Saratoga that was headquartered on North Broadway or on Broadway several years ago. Um, that is no longer in the area, but that was called Checked.com.
Okay, great, thank you. I'm going to make a statement here, and I just want you to either continue the statement or respond how you wish. My observations of you, especially since the spring, we sat down in the spring and had a long discussion about your candidacy and so forth. And I was so impressed with you're a quick study. You're very reasonable. You're very moderate. I guess you might lean conservative, but you're hardly extreme at any end, and you just make sense, George. What is it that gets you uh, to be? And what my view is such a again. I like the moderation. I like the reasonableness. What makes you such a good candidate?
Um, well, thank you, Dan. First of all, that's a high praise. And yes, I came to you early because I know you know a lot of the issues and a lot of the people. And, being a first time candidate, I needed advice and to explore um, what the real movers and shakers in town cared about. And since then, I've been digging in and figuring out what the voters care about and the citizens. Um, uh, when I moved here 20 plus years ago, one of the things that really struck me about the politics in this town is just all the bickering and bipartisanship. And while it comes and goes to some small degree, it doesn't belong in local government. And I think that's one of the big reasons why I'm running. I believe firmly that I can run, and I am running a bipartisan, common sense, collaborative approach to the issues that we have here in Saratoga Springs and in the county. And, you know, if you want to know where I get that from, it's my mother and father. My dad lived to be 93 years old. And at his funeral, I think 3 people mentioned, I never heard him raise his voice. He was a listener and a study of the issues before he formed opinions. And I like to think I'm the same thing. Nowhere near as good as my dad, but I aspire.
And you've used that term collaborative or a collaborator. I think how you described yourself in the League of Women Voters forum the other night. And you said that you do listen more than you talk. Explain why that is so important for the county supervisor position for Saratoga Springs, because I know there's a relevance there.
Yeah, that's a great question, Dan. Um, Here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand about the county and the role of the county supervisors. Every municipality in the county sends 1 or 2, in a couple cases, representatives, these supervisors, to oversee the $430 million budget of the county and decide priorities and laws and how it gets spent. These 21 municipalities include places like Day and Hadley and Corinth, Galway, um, and those cities are not nearly as prosperous as we are, acceptedly, admittedly. Um, and they oftentimes look at Saratoga Springs as they don't need county help. They're doing just fine. So what you have to do, what I believe I'm going to have to do, and I've confirmed this with Matt Veach, my longtime friend and first endorsement, and frankly, he's the person that prodded me to get into the race. You really have to go and sit down with those people and listen to them and understand where their issues are at the community level and in their personal bid for election and reelection. And once you start to understand that, I believe, as I have done for many, many years in business, you'll be able to come up with solutions that meet the needs of everybody. That may sound a little bit pie in the sky, but I can guarantee you I've done it many times before. And it really comes down to reaching not necessarily across the aisle, but across priorities of different towns to make sure that Saratoga Springs gets its fair resources and fair due from the county.
That is a great explanation. I love how you parsed out not quite across the aisle, but really because you're right. Because a lot of times these are majority Republicans, but yeah, there's still not, I won't say divisions, but priorities that are different amongst the group. So thank you for explaining that way. Now take that what you just explained. We could talk a little bit about the bar closing time, but and that's fine if you go there. But also, I'd like to talk about the unhoused, the homeless, because that is that issue fits nicely into the explanation you just said, as far as the issues Saratoga Springs is facing and where the county has a role.
Yeah. Homelessness is a county-wide issue, and frankly, it's a national issue. I guarantee you, there's no city of our size that isn't grappling with this right now, and certainly the bigger cities are grappling with it, possibly even more. So, where the county steps in is the county, in some cases, is a pass-through budget from the state. Things like Code Blue are required by law at the state level, but the state funds the county. The county then invests in Code Blue. that is how we managed to get the $3 million spent by the county to purchase a location for the Code Blue shelter on Boston Avenue. So that's a sense of how it works, but there are plenty of resources across the county for people, particularly those in need of nutrition assistance and things along those lines. But getting back to, why is it a bigger issue in Saratoga than maybe in other towns? Number one, it's far more visible. Number two, we have the resources, the services to provide these underprivileged people. So it is a natural place for us to be the hub of the solution, but that also means that we need to be the hub of the funding and the resources that the county provides. And so far, I think they've done a reasonable job. I do believe there is room for increased spending from the county on this issue, but I don't think dollars are the only issue that we have here. It's a complex web of funding, a complex web of service providers, and an immensely complex web of needs, from drug addiction to alcoholism, to people that are just down on their luck, to spousal abuse and things along those lines. That we just, it's not a one size fits all for these individuals.
Great, thanks for that. And what and you started touching on this. I'd like you to dive in a little deeper. If you are elected county supervisor, do you have what are some of your ideas or plans or goals to get the county legislature or the county board of supervisors? I come from a different county where we didn't have board of supervisors; we had a legislature. How can you communicate to make sure that the county is serving the whole county, but also specifically Saratoga Springs?
Well, I think you have to be an advocate for the city, and you can't be an advocate. But by the way, it's a lot easier to convince a friend of your opinion than it is to convince an enemy. So, step one is make friends. Because once you're on the wrong side of somebody, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. They're just not listen to you. So that's kind of step one in any negotiation and in any process of getting things done. I think I slightly lost my train of thought on your question. Can you tell me what you want me to get at again?
Really, anything you want to talk about. You touched on it a little bit about if you're elected supervisor, and you and Saratoga Springs has the bulk of the unhoused problem in the county is apparent and real in Saratoga Springs, right? I'm not saying Clifton Park doesn't have an issue and others don't have an issue, but it's the largest issue is here in Saratoga Springs from my observations anyway. How do you plan to?
Unquestionably, it's the largest issue. It's also the most visible issue, and the one that is most likely to impede our brand. And when I say our brand, I'm talking about the brand of Saratoga County, where so much of the tourism comes here through Saratoga Springs. So the critical thing when I sit down with my other supervisors is going to be to convince them on so many levels that's what's good for Saratoga Springs is good for the county. We do drive a lot of the financial benefits that all the other municipalities receive. So we have to be careful to make sure that we are protecting, we as a county are protecting the golden goose, which happens to be Saratoga Springs.
Thank you. And let me shift a little bit. I mentioned the 2 a.m. closing time or the 4 a.m. closing time, changing that. Not as important as the unhoused, but it's been an issue for several years here now. What do you have anything you want to say on that issue?
Yeah. Earlier this year, it was the idea to close the bars earlier, cleared the way out of committee on the at the board level, and then got put to a vote for all the supervisors. Um, it is extremely rare for something not to go through with flying colors once it comes out of a committee and gets presented to the entire board for it not to pass. It shocked, I think, everybody, even the opponents, that they managed to not pass this. I have discussed why it didn't go through with Steve Bolger, the county administrator. He knows everything that goes on in the county. Phil Barrett, who was the chairperson of the county supervisors, and also I have his endorsement for this position, and with Matt Veach and others as to how we're going to get it through next time. And the fact of the matter is, there wasn't enough listening done. There wasn't enough convincing done of some other supervisors. So that, combined with a mistiming of the vote, it happened during a school vacation, which gave a lot of people an excuse to not show up for the meeting. I think like 7 supervisors didn't show. And, you know, we can get it through. I'm 100% confident now that I understand what happened that we can get it through.
Okay, great, George. If there's anything else you want to talk about on these issues, I'm open. I am ready to wind this down. We're at 16 and a half minutes. But is there anything else you want to talk about on within the realm of what we've been discussing here?
I'm pretty happy so far, Dan. I'm just
Well, I am already looking forward to the next one. I'll tease it a little bit. I'd like to ask you about the fact that if you're elected, and I don't want you to answer this today, I'm just teasing this here. As assuming you will be with another Democrat. There'll be 2, like you
Yes.
said, some municipalities send 2, and Saratoga is certainly one of them. Folks, you can elect up to 2. You don't have to vote for 2 in the election, but you'll be going with a Democrat. It'll be either Minnie DeSangvi or Sarah Berger. And I want to talk to you about the relationship amongst the 2 of you, hypothetically, of course, and how that how you would approach that. But we'll save that for next time, if that's okay.
Wow, you teased me like that, and now you're sending me home? Okay.
I'm just trying to make sure we don't go 25 minutes.
And you tease the audience too, which is great. Thank you.
Okay, good, George. Well, folks, we're going to do this again. This will be posted the weekend. You'll be seeing this on the weekend, and then early part of the coming week, we're going to do this. You know, it's crunch time here, just a couple weeks out. We're going to do this again, and we will. We'll talk about the relationship with the other the second supervisor, as well as some other issues. George, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Dan. I really appreciate what you do for the city, and I appreciate being on your show.
Excellent. Look forward to it soon. A couple more days. Take care.